Today we're going to cover how to create your own easy, no sewing involved fabric boxes so you can display these boxes and hide your stuff anywhere within your home. Let's get started with the tools and materials list you're going to need for this project. Tools-wise, you're going to need scissors to cut the fabric, along with a stapler or potentially two, and we'll cover that in a later step. For materials, you need tape, boxes, fabric, and all of the things that you're going to store in the boxes. So pretty much the first step is make sure that everything fits in the boxes, and you want to assign it ahead of time so you know that everything is set and everything will fit. Second, you also want to know where you're going to place the boxes, because there's a difference between putting it in a closet where you don't necessarily have to buy enough material to cover the top and the bottom, versus putting it in a place where it's a shared space where everyone can see it. You definitely want to cover the top when it comes to storing this box in a hallway or a bedroom that you see all the time. So depending on where the box ends up is how much material you need to get. You want to know your measurements before you go to the store, which is the next step. Finding the beautiful material that are going to go great with your color scheme design in your room. And I went to two different places when it came to this material. I went to a discount fabric store where I fell in love with these 3D fabrics, along with a second store that was a higher end store, and they sold the end of the roll at a discount. So that's why it makes a big difference in knowing your measurements, because you could score a really good deal, let's say for this box, if they only had 2 feet of some fantastic material. So after you have everything on hand and you're back home, it's time, it's like your birthday where you're wrapping the presents. And in the case of this box, I took the material and had it inside out and stapled it along this edge. And then you take that sleeve off, put it right side out, and shimmy it back on. And in the case of this one, I stapled it on the top along with on the bottom just to keep the fabric in place. When it came to other boxes, I didn't have necessarily the material to cover the whole thing, but that's okay because this is the side that's facing out and it looks totally legit. Then all you have to do is staple along the outside here. And when it comes to the bottom, this is one where I took a little piece of you can see this is a harder core staple. The rest of the staples are normal, but this is a T50 stapler that I use. It's a handheld stapler that we use to install insulation on job sites. And right now I would totally show you, but it's on a job site. And so instead I put a link down below so you can see what I'm talking about if you haven't used a T50 stapler before. The other reason you might want to use that is depending on what you're storing in the boxes. If it's super heavy, a box might not be strong enough on its own. You might want to put a wood frame, and a bigger staple from the outside in would bite into the wood. It'll make it a stronger box. That also brings up the point is, since we're using staples in this project, you want to make sure that the staples aren't just extending into the box and hanging out, especially if you have something that's a little more delicate or maybe covered in fabric. You wouldn't want to put it in there and then have it snag. The last part about this is I added tape to that list because you never know if you have a box that's just going to try and come open on you. So you'll want to add tape to the top. So it's a known fact that we all have way too much stuff, too much Christmas, holiday, camping gear, sporting equipment, all items that we use from time to time, but we just don't want to see it every day. And it's a great way of storing your stuff like that in plain sight, creating more storage space in a house where we're always strapped for storage. We always are looking for storage solutions. And it's also a great way to add some different design elements into your home. And even if you decide to remodel later, all you have to do is choose a different few fabrics and rewrap it without feeling too guilty about it. I hope you're inspired by this idea, and if you do, come back, leave a comment below to share your experience, and if you do like this information, please hit subscribe and like to support more videos like this. Thanks for watching.